Ladies, gentlemen, welcome back. And today I wanted to just do like a talking video on things that I'd like to see change in CB in the next, few seasons. Ideally sooner, but these are nothing huge. These are just basically quality of life things, and just some nice stuff that I'd be interested to hear if you have the same opinions that I have on these sort of things. And yeah, I just want to throw some ideas out there. So if a dev happens to catch this, or like one of the people that create CB, then potentially this might give you a good idea for something new to add or change or do whatever. So let's get into it. The first thing that I've wanted for a little while now, and I got reminded about it I watched a Coffee Fuel Gaming's video literally a day ago, and the first one would be range viewpoints. So when you take a range class being longbow, short bow, or musket, you are forced into a zoom, and it sucks. I mean, I've got used to it now, but it's unnecessary. There is no need for it. So what I would be suggesting is just at some point change it so we can just zoom out. Like, let's just sort that out. Let's just allow range classes to be able to actually have a bit of distance and not have the camera here on their head. It is really irritating, and I don't think there's anyone that would dispute that being an option of just being able to scroll wheel back and shoot from still play but from a further distance back, so you can actually have a bit more awareness with your units, because it's a hit. If you ever change from a melee class to a range class, that is the hardest thing to get used to, is that sometimes you'll be Xing your unit forward, and their X formation is so close to your person, to your character, that you can't see them because they're technically inside of your character, and your camera's so viewed that you can't see them. So yeah, that's the first one I'd like to see. The second one I would like to see is new, a weekly map rotation for Defend and Deploy. I know a lot of people don't like Defend and Deploy or don't do it, but I do it every day, just because I think doctrines are one of the most important things to get as many of as you can. But it does get a bit samey, so I'd like to see them add maybe 5-6 maps and just release every week. Just change the maps up. Just have that, and then just have it go back to the map. By the time you've done that, it's been 6 weeks, so you'll be getting used to the maps. Or even a daily map change, makes 7 maps and then just rotate them throughout the week. Would be really nice. I think that would make it a bit fresher. There'd be some that people like and some that people don't like, and if you're doing it on a daily rotation, then at least the next day they do it. But and you could technically make them a bit bigger as well. Would be quite nice. I think it's a good entry to PvE. You've got PvE as it stands, as in killing stuff with your character, like AI and whatever, that can get really boring. But this is kind of a unique PvE, and I think it's something they could run with for a little bit and make some harder ones and change up the maps a bit. So that's another one that I'd like to see. And then the next thing I'd like to see is achievement attires and questline attires that don't require sovereigns or anything like that. Just so if you're a new player or a free-to-play player, you have something to aim towards. A questline that is a long one that takes you all around the map, outside, inside, and then you eventually get a cool-looking armor attire at the end. I think it's an underrated thing in this game that the armors, people really love the attires, and I think credit to the people that design them. The attires in this game are really second to none. They are amazing looking, better than loads of games. I played New World, and some of the attires in that you can buy are shocking. So yeah, the attires in this game are good, but in general, we need to have more free attires for people to collect and get people interested. And then they might have those attires and be like, oh, I want to go and grab that one now, and they'll buy it, So yeah, attires for free, quest line attire, achievement attires that don't require sovereigns. And now the next one is sort of a selfish one from me. I love making like cinematic content. I've done quite a lot of it, and I really want to do some more, but it's a lot of logistics because I can only record for 30 seconds when I'm doing like a cinematic thing, because I have to go play Dual Blades, go Infiltrator, and then I film while I'm in stealth, and that only lasts for 30 seconds. So yeah, it can get kind of, or I have to hide behind units, and it's strange. So what I would like to see is basically a cinematic. When I do a custom battle, I can like either zoom straight into my player, like through his eyes, so you don't see any of my player, and I can see the view out of the eyes. And to sort of go with that, I would like to see more options for custom battles. For example, when I'm filming, the worst thing is I have to do it within a time limit, like 18 minutes, or the siege ends, or I have to get the other team to take all the points apart from the last point, so we have a maximum time to film. And what I'd like is just to be able to turn off the time, just turn it off, make time, and that'd be quite fun for people actually doing custom battles and stuff. No one has to rush, you can practice things, turn off the time, just like a lot more options when you do, like when you go into a battle, you can like choose no time limit, all v all, like that sort of thing. That would be really, really nice to have, like option like all gates are already open, things like siege towers are already at the walls. It's simple stuff, just more options in the custom battles, and yeah, first person mode, so I don't have to go invisible to film like a cinematic scene. Like, just imagine my eyes at the camera and I can't see any of me. That would be nice. So that's a kind of selfish one, but I think a lot of people would find that quite nice, even just the part where it's more custom stuff and custom battles. The next one would be like this is for PvE, and PvE in this game, as we just discussed, was like Defend and Deploy is quite unique, but the other stuff is just killing AI units, and then you might come across a boss, and the boss is just like, yeah, it's not. You just steamroll it. What I'd like to see is them add bosses back. Like in Scourge of Winter, we had this really fun boss that actually had like one-shot mechanics that would kill you. Like he would just suddenly summon in a cavalry charge. There was actually two bosses, but you killed the lower one. If you killed the lower one, then suddenly cavalry charges happened. It was fun. And considering the game works like how we roll and we do, we dodge stuff, that makes me think of like stuff like Elden Ring, where you're dodging attacks and stuff like that. So, saying that, I think they could add a like PvE mode that you go in with the 5 men and maybe some set units or whatever, where you kill bosses and they're actually hard. Like you actually have to do a tactic, like tactics and strategy to actually get through the boss. They did add one in the Colosseum, but obviously, and that was okay. That was quite nice. But I'd like to see like a focused PvE, even if it's just an event. PvE boss again, like it wasn't like we had one in Scourge of Winter, like that. So yeah, that's another one that I'd like to see in the game in the next couple of seasons, ideally sooner. The next one might rub people up the wrong way, but if I explain it properly, then it wouldn't affect anything apart from making life a bit easier for people that get given terrible runes. I would like there to be 2 runes per class a season that don't change. They come back every season. Not obviously we get to runes. We've had runes come back this season that we've had before, but I'm talking like just 2 runes, and then on a new season you get all the new ones. So what do we get? 3, let's say 3 for our weapon. So you have 2 permanent ones that stay around, come back every season, and then we get the 3 kind of new ones, the experimental ones, or ones that's gone away and then come back or whatever. But at least my thinking behind this would be that at least if you got terrible runes of those 3 for the new season, you can still have potentially those 2 that you can rely on that you've had every season. So if I was doing an example, Shortbow has a rune that every 2 shots, on your 3rd shot it will fire 3 shots at 50% of the damage, right? Now, to me, that it already comes back every season, but that should be locked in every season, and then we would have a different one, something experimental come in that could be good, could be bad. If it's bad, well, at least we have that to go back to. And then let's take, from my experience, like Dual Blade, for example. You know, they could have the increased range on Shuriken, or something like that, just come back every season, as well as the experimental ones. And that would at least allow you, if your class is struggling, you still have the ones to go back for. So yeah, potentially, I think that'd be a nice way to go about it. Obviously, it needs to be fleshed out more, but if you kind of get what I'm saying, that you would always be secure because there'd be 2 runes that you know about. Anyway, yes, that's another thing I'd like to see. The next one is an interesting one. I would like to see flags. You know how you can put a flag on your unit? Well, they don't really do anything. They look cosmetic, and you never really see them. So what I'd like to see for those is those hold a doctrine spot. A little bit of an interesting thing. Doesn't matter what the flag is. The flag can be epic, green, blue. So it remains fair. But it has a doctrine spot limited to a maximum doctrine of a blue. That I think would then just, I mean, it's a tiny increase in power, but then it's just more customability, can't speak. And it makes flags useful. You put them on something and it's got a doctrine in, and maybe the doctrine stays on the flag, and you can move the flag to different, banners, the different banner to a different unit without any cost. You just, once you put the doctrine in that flag, that's in the flag, not in the flag on the character. You know what I mean? So you can like move it across to other things. I think that would just be a good use for flags, because most of the time, if I ever get them in, if I'm ever rolling the attire box chest or something, I get a flag, I like instantly salvage it because it doesn't do anything. So I think that'd be a nice idea with flags. So yeah, that's one. And then this is a big one that I think people will agree with me. Seasonal weapons attires. I want them back. Like, it was always one of the exciting things when a new season came out, that you would go to the seasonal store and you would have a look at what the weapons looked like. And yes, okay, some of the weapons don't get picked because they don't, a lot of the classes don't play them. But that should almost be an indication of, like, which classes are popular. But yes, I would love to see them come back. Even if they came back once every other season, that might be quite nice. Like, one season without, one season with. Because we're going to run out of, what are they called? Antique attires now. And I feel like, yeah, I think it would be worth bringing them back. And I don't think anyone would complain, per se, of that. So that's another one. And now this is one that I really would love to see, but I don't think they'd ever do it because it'd be too much coding. But I know a lot of you guys would be really, really keen for this. I would love to see weapon attire splitting, such as, let's say you're a longsword and shield, and you have a Season 2 shield, sword and shield, longsword and shield, and you have a Season 8 longsword and shield. You can take the shield from the Season 8 and the sword from the Season 2, and you can have that as your attire. Like, we're splitting it up. I think that would end up being a really cool system. And a lot of people love, like, short swords. That'd be great for them. Long swords, great for them. So that's just one side of it. The other side of it would be you can take a cape off of an attire and put it on another attire. So, like, how we can, like, have a chest and then change our hands to a different attires, our gauntlets to a different attire, and then our boots to another one, and our helmet to another one. I just would love to take the cape off of the bit of gear and be able to put it on something else. So, like, I've got this tiger set with this big, it looks like you're wearing a rug on your back. I'd love to be able to put that on my set that I'm wearing now. So it obviously would be hard to code, but I think with the customization, as I said earlier, I think they underrate how much people like collecting attires and like customizing. I love like getting a set, putting one piece on, then having a separate set for the gloves, a separate set for the boots, separate set for the helmet, that sort of thing. And I just love the idea of taking the cape off some sets and putting on other sets. So yeah, attire splitting would be high on my list. I would love that. And then finally, to finish off, I think, is that the one to finish off? Let me have a look. Yep, to finish off, I wrote these down. To finish off, up the drop chance of epic schematics in sieges. Not saying it needs to be super high, but I am level 2,700 now, and I have never got an epic schematic from a siege. Like, that's silly. That's like 5,000, 6,000 game hours, and I have never got an epic schematic from a siege. So I'd like to see that upped, considering they've just buffed the gear for epic schematics, or buffed it, changed it, like made it more viable. People are going to be wanting to wear it, but they worry about it because the endurance. Yes, when you reforge it, your endurance goes up, but what happens when that runs out? Like, for example, as a bow, my bow breaks like after maybe 20 sieges. I can't physically do that with epic schematics because it's gone. 20 sieges is a bit of an exaggeration, but it's not many in the grand scheme of things of how much I play this game. So either the endurance of gear of the epic schematic gear needs to be pushed to the roof, like even further than it is now. We're talking like, I don't know, 1,000 endurance. So you literally can do an entire season with that set without taking it off before it all breaks, or even more than that. Or just more epic schematics. Just up that drop chance, because the drop chance must be 0.1 in a siege. Like, even if they're bound, if you get them from a siege, I don't mind that. You know, it just would be nice to have the chance to get a Epic Doctrine box from a siege and reforge your bit of gear, and then people might actually aspire to try and get some leadership on their epic schematic gear. Like, actually have you got the blue set that's got your thing on, but then you aspire to get that full. It's going to take you a long time, but you aspire to get that full epic schematic set with leadership. It would just give that sort of that steady progression. So you go from having the blue schematic gear, then to upgrading your blue schematic gear to being reforged, and then getting this blue schematic gear that you will still use. But then in the long run, you're really going to try and do that. But you don't, like, if you're a longsword or a like poleaxe, you're not going to do it because your armor breaks too quickly. Like, you're in the front line, you're getting hit a lot. Your armor's gone. So that is where I'd finish it off. There is obviously more stuff I'd like, and there's going to be people that are like, oh, you didn't mention unit balancing or anything. That wasn't really this video. There's obviously unit balancing, stuff like that. I personally think the unit balancing is pretty good at the moment. Weapon balancing is a different story. But yeah, that wasn't what this list was for. This was just for like little cool things that I'd like to see. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I want to know in the comments what you think. If you think which one you like, which you don't, and if you're not subscribed and you like this sort of content and you like my content, I would be really appreciative if you subscribe. And yeah, thanks guys. I'll see you in the next one.